British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good afternoon. I'm Sophie Hansen with your news updates to 1:30. The RCMP say they're investigating the deaths of 3 people in Lloydminster, Saskatchewan. Yesterday evening, there was a heavy police presence around the area of 50th Street and 47th Avenue. Officers are continuing to investigate what they call, quote, an unfolding incident. Mounties have not yet said how the people died, their age, or their genders. Federal Immigration Minister Mark Miller says Ottawa won't force provinces to accept asylum seekers without compensation or their consent. He says claims by New Brunswick Premier Blaine Higgs that the federal government wants to force the province to take in 4,600 asylum seekers are, quote, largely fictitious. Higgs took to social media yesterday to say that accepting so many asylum seekers would stretch out his province's resources. But Miller notes the federal government has been modeling what a, quote, fair distribution of asylum seekers would look like. Business groups are urging the federal government to step in and prevent a potential strike by Air Canada pilots. The union representing Air Canada pilots says a 72-hour strike or lockdown notice could be issued as early as Sunday, which could then lead to a full stoppage as soon as Wednesday. Canadian Chamber of Commerce President Candice Lang says action is needed from the government to protect the economy and Canada's reputation on the world stage.
While deals should be reached at the table, when it looks unlikely, we need to face the cost of inaction, and in this case, that cost is simply too high. We need the federal government to use other tools it has available and help support steps towards a resolution.
The government has so far said it's up to the airline and the union to strike a deal. A Northern Californian man has been arrested and is facing federal charges for allegedly assaulting a flight attendant on a Frontier airline flight this week. ABC reporter Alex Stone has more on the events leading up to his arrest.
30-year-old Charles Salva was on a Frontier Airlines flight from Orange County, California to San Francisco, according to federal prosecutors. He allegedly opened up and pulled down an oxygen mask as a plane was taking off. Then he allegedly began yelling that the airplane was going down. Prosecutors say he grabbed fellow passengers and a flight attendant, tried to restrain him as he ran toward the rear of the plane. Then he allegedly tried to choke the flight attendant and pushed another, saying he was going to kill everybody, and he broke out of plastic handcuffs. The flight diverted, and he could get 20 years in prison. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Former movie mogul Harvey Weinstein has been indicted on additional sex-charged crimes in New York ahead of his retrial on his landmark #MeToo case. ABC's Aaron Kotarski has more on the indictment.
And the judge asked for an update on the case. Prosecutors revealed that they had secured a new indictment. And while we don't know the exact charges, we know that prosecutors had presented evidence of 3 alleged sexual assaults by 3 different women, varying time periods over the last couple of decades, and those look like they could form the basis of these new charges.
Georgia State House Speaker says lawmakers will consider new gun policies in 2025. The changes could include increased student access to mental health care, proper storage of guns, and information sharing among schools, police, and health professionals. But Republican John Burns is stopping short of Democratic demands. They include universal background checks, a mandate to safely lock up guns, and a red flag law letting the state temporarily take guns from someone in crisis. Firefighters battling 3 major wildfires in the mountain east of Los Angeles are taking advantage of cooler weathers. California is now only confronting the height of this year's wildfire season and has already seen nearly 3 times as much acreage burned than during all of 2023. Burnaby is now mainly cloudy with some highs of 19 and a low of 12. These have been your news updates to 1:30. Thanks for listening. I'm Sophie Hansen for BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Teresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good afternoon. Everywhere I go, Crow streamers always know that Nicholas Hauka has sports headlines at the bottom of the show. This is your sports update to 140. Canada's top male tennis players have defeated Finland 3-0 at the Davis Cup. Denis Shapovalov beat Iro Vasa in 2 sets in the day's first singles match. Felix Auger-Aliassime then dispatched Otto Virtanen in the second singles match. Finally, Shapovalov and Auger-Aliassime teamed up to best the Finns in doubles play. The Tampa Bay Rays' Edwin Uceda has been punished for intentionally throwing the ball at another player. Getting Coolbaugh on how long the Rays will be missing their pitcher.
Rays pitcher Edwin Uceda has been suspended for 3 games and fined for intentionally throwing at Nick Castellanos, an action that propelled the Phillies outfielder to say, quote, "That's like my 2-year-old throwing a fit." Tampa Bay manager Kevin Cash was suspended for 1 game and also fined an undisclosed amount by MLB. Cash served his suspension during Wednesday night's game at Philadelphia. If Uceda appeals, the penalty would be delayed. The 26-year-old right-hander has made 25 appearances out of the bullpen this season, pitching to a 1.49 ERA with 51 strikeouts. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Right-handed pitcher Brett DeHoos was claimed off waivers by the Toronto Blue Jays from the Miami Marlins. He was immediately optioned to the Blue Jays AAA affiliate in Buffalo, New York. The 26-year-old DeHoos has appeared in 11 games between Miami and Seattle this season, spending the majority of the campaign at AAA Jacksonville and Tacoma in a combined 47 appearances. DeHoos has made a total of 58 MLB appearances between the Texas Rangers, Arizona Diamondbacks, Seattle Mariners, and Miami Marlins, posting a 7.17 ERA over 59 innings with 47 strikeouts and a 53.6% ground ball rate. Golfer Rory McIlroy says the made-for-TV match in December between stars of the PGA Tour and LIV Golf is not about sending a message. McIlroy says it's more about an illustration of what can happen between rival tours and what golf has been missing. McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler are set to play Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau. The only times McIlroy and Scheffler have played together this year were in the majors. Hall of Fame linebacker Joe Schmidt, who helped the Detroit Lions win 2 NFL titles, has passed away at 92. The Lions organization said family informed the team Schmidt died Wednesday. A cause of death was not provided. One of pro football's first great middle linebackers, Schmidt played his entire NFL career with the Lions from 1953 to 1965. An 8-time All-Pro, he was enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1973. The Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium will have a new name for their first home game of the year, Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. The field will change its name from Everbank to Trevor Bank Stadium, named after starting quarterback Trevor Lawrence, according to the Jaguars' Twitter account. This change will last only 1 week, as it's a promotional change due to Lawrence's new partnership with Everbank. Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes fielded questions from reporters today regarding former U.S. President Donald Trump, recently referencing Mahomes' family. Trump started referencing Mahomes' wife last month after she had liked and then unliked an Instagram post by the Republican presidential nominee outlining his party's platform. Mahomes says he's ignoring Trump's comments.
Brittany does a lot in the community. I do a lot in the community to help bring people up and give people other opportunities to use their voice. And so it's in the political times, people are going to use stuff here and there, but I can't let that affect how I go about my business every single day and live my life.
In collegiate athletics, the Pacific 12 Conference is adding Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State to play within the conference. The additions will take the Mountain West Conference's 4 most prominent schools and successful football programs, most notably Boise State. The Pac-12 and the departing schools will likely be on the hook for about $100 million in exit fees to the Mountain West. After this update, here are my thoughts on the NCAA's choice to change up its conferences. That was your sports update to 140. I'm Nicholas Hauka, and so I have to say before I go that I just want you to know you're listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.